responsibly today and remember our children and grandchildren's future is our responsibility. The Bade Fund, our future is our business. To contribute to the Bade Fund, go to www.baedfund.co.uk. So that's www.badefund.co.uk. Click on Donate Now, where you will find the details, or click on the PayPal section in the header box. The Bade Fund, the Bade Fund, the Bade Fund, the Bade Fund.
Many more will have to die. Don't ask me why.
Enroll now 9-week holistic herbal health course. Learn traditional African concepts of health, the art and science of nutrition and herbal medicine, detoxification, importance of sleep, natural remedies for stress, herb walk, herbal preparation, tea tasting, microgreens growing, and much more. Where Tea Chances, 399 High Road, Tottenham, London N17 6QM. Weekly, Tuesdays, May the 7th through to July the 2nd. Ujjayi, and welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show. My name is Katasta Fakara, and the Wisdom of the Nile show is brought to you by the Earth Center. The Earth Center is a non-profit, spiritual and cultural organization working for the cultural and spiritual preservation. We are going to have a very special show this evening. So we will start with the first section, which tells you about the history of the Earth Center, and then we are going to welcome a very, very special guest this evening. So the Earth Center was brought to the West by Naba Lamusa Morandenibeg, High Priest of the Dagomba tradition from Burkina Faso, West Africa. And the Dagomba people trace their lineage back to the Nile Valley region, to the place we call Kemet, or others know as Egypt. Hence the Wisdom of the Nile show. And they trace their back to their traditions back to the pharaonic times, when the Greeks came to invade the Nile Valley region. There was waves of migration through Sudan, across the Sahara Desert into what we now call West Africa, across the regions like Ghana, Togo, Benin, Burkina Faso, the people who we know as the Dagomba people migrated and spread across that region. They took the traditions that they had from the Nile Valley and continued to practice their tradition in the bush, in secret. And they have been doing that for thousands of years. And until now, where what we call the initiation, and that is how they kept the knowledge from the pharaonic times in secret. That's how they were able to practice without Europeans being able to infiltrate and water down their traditions. They practiced in what we call the bush. And over 20 years ago, the temples from Burkina Faso, so many people know about the Dogons from Mali, but as I said, there are people that stretch across that region, and the temples gave Naba Lamusa Morendenibeg, who is the high priest who brought the tradition here into the West, gave him permission to bring the initiation out into the West. And this was the first time that the tradition had been given permission by the temples to do this. And this was because they saw the state that humanity was in. And Naba brought the tradition into the school, the Earth Center, into the first place he opened the school was Chicago. And Chicago, Illinois. Schools were also opened in New York, San Diego, LA, California, West Virginia, Baltimore, Maryland, Houston, Texas. Naba transitioned just over 10 years ago, and his son, Naba Iritah Shemnira, continued the work. And in 2012, Naba Iritah came to the UK with a contingent from the US and gave a series of lectures across the UK. In 2014, he returned to the UK and set up the first school in London. Another school was set up in Birmingham, and to date we now have a school opened in Coventry. There are also schools in Ouagadougou. There is a school in Montreal, Canada, and a school is soon to be opened in Toronto, Canada. The school consists of the teachings is what the school comes under. The branch of the Earth Center that the school comes under is and under there are 3 sections, and this is where the initiation is taught. And there are 3 sections. One section called Sunt, which deals with the healing aspect of the teachings, traditional healing, traditional concept, traditional divination. The other section is Medu. And Medu is really the cornerstone of the initiation. And this is where we learn what most people know as hieroglyphs. This is where we are taught Medu and Medu Mait, which is the levels of the student, which is the Greeks called it language of the gods. And it is the language that was given to us by the Neteru, the divinities. It's actually a tiered language, and at the highest level, it's Medu Neter. So that is taught and in the school, as well as other concepts. Then we have the third class, which is Ka'atibi. And Ka'atibi can be translated to meditation. And this is where we learn about the spiritual side of the traditions. We learn traditional prayers. We also learn about the cosmogony, the spiritual side of the organization. So those are the three classes that are given in initiation, and those classes are given in each school. So this is where the student can go through what we call per Ankh, the house of life, the first stage of initiation. As well as the Earth Center having the Umtam, we also have another branch, which is the Firefly. So the Earth Center produces its own publications. And under the Firefly, we have the Philosophy Podium, which was written by Naba. And it's called Philosophy Podium, A Dogon Perspective. And this was the first time you have Dogons telling their story for themselves, giving you the concepts from the tradition, from a high priest's perspective. So we have the Philosophy Podium. We have another book called The Initiatic Tales, which gives us tales from the initiation, anecdotes that, give us a guide on how we can go through life. It's a wonderful book, one I always tell my children, and one which is great for adults. It teaches us so much. We also have the Book of Purifications. And for those who want to know how to purify themselves before even going into what we call prayer, but we call it Zemzem, there's a process of purification. And so there is a book called the Book of Purification, again written by Naba Lamusa Morin Denibek, along with his son, Naba Iritah Shemnira. So if anyone is interested about understanding the purification, then that book, and all of these are available for purchase. Then we have a magazine called The Firefly. And in The Firefly, we have articles from the priests, we have articles from fellow initiates, and these articles cover a range of things within the tradition. We also have a magazine called the Sunny Side magazine. As well as that, the Firefly produces the calendar. The Dagomba people, many people will know about the Dagomba who have heard of them because they understand them to be masters of astrology. And they have their own calendar system which has been used for thousands of years. And so they go by not the solar calendar, but by a star called the Sirius star. And so we have a calendar which again is available for people who want to see the calendar and maybe follow that traditional calendar. And we also have another product, which is the 77. The 77 Code of Human Behavior. It gives us the codes. This is where the 10 Commandments come from, and also the 42 Laws of Ma'at that many people are familiar with. This gives us the code of behavior, how human beings should live. So that the Firefly covers that section, the publications. Then we also have Ancaster Healing, and this is where people who are interested in spiritual readings, if you're interested in traditional herbs, this is the branch of the Earth Center that covers the healing aspect. And then we have Project in Iritah, PIM. And the PIM really focuses on Iritah, Africa, focuses on projects in the community in Africa. So there are agricultural projects, there are rebuilding of the temple projects, there is a healing center, there are wells that have been bought. So there are many projects that are going down in Iritah that the Project in Iritah committee is responsible for. And we also have the charity arm of the organization. So the Earth Center has many those arms to it. But we also have, for those who are interested in coming to the schools and knowing just a bit more, maybe seeing what it is that we are doing, may want to come into the classes. That is available for people on Sunday here in London. We have classes on a Sunday. And if anyone is interested in coming to maybe sit in our class and see what is really being taught in the school, I will give out a number afterwards for information about that. But we also have some lectures coming up. So we will be talking a bit more about the lectures that are coming up, but just so that you are aware, there is a lecture tomorrow that will be taking place in, and I believe it's in Leicester. And I'll give you let me give you the details now. So that's going to be 6 till 9 p.m. It's going to be in Leicester. The title of that talk is going to be Science of the Dogon / Ancient Egypt. That's 6 till 9 p.m. That's going to be tomorrow at the Leicester African Caribbean Community Centre, Maidstone Road, Leicester. That talk will be done by Naba, Iritah, Shemnira, Dogon priest. And there is also a lecture that's going to be coming up in London, and I'm going to give you more details on that. Actually, let me give you that now as well. That's going to be on Saturday, the 15th of June, 6:30 till 8:30 p.m. The importance of family, a Dogon perspective. So if you want to know any more about the Earth Centre, you can email on inquiries-uk@theearthcentre.com. But if you would like to call the Earth Centre to find out, or maybe to come in on the classes, find out more about when the talks are going to be, or just to pick up any of the publications, you can call us on 0207 175 4144. That's 0207 175 4144. If you're interested in the school in Coventry, then you can also contact 0207 626 6859. That's 0207 626 6859. So again, I want to welcome you to the Wisdom of the Nile show. I'm going to go into a little interlude, and after the interlude, we are going to have a very, very special guest on the other side. See you on the other side. Music by Tumani Diabate. Welcome back to the Wisdom of the Nile show. As I said to you, we have a very special guest in the studio this evening. We have our very own Naba Iritah Shemnira, son of Naba Lamusa Moron Denibeg. Naba, welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show.
Thank you. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. And before we go into discussion with Naba, we haven't given the proverb of the week yet. And so we'll give the one that Naba always gives. And it's, if you can't be a star in the sky, be a firefly on earth. If you can't be a star in the sky, be a firefly on earth. So, Naba, we are so pleased to have you here with us today. Really looking forward to listening to the wisdom that you are going to bring us today. So, first of all, as I said, welcome to the Wisdom of the Nile show. I'm going to start with, I know you have just recently come into the UK, I think just a week now. From there you came from the States, but prior to that you was in Iritah, and in Iritah there was a pilgrimage. That's one of the things I didn't even mention, that we have a pilgrimage. Can I just want to, I think before I go there, let's just ask you first a bit about you as a Dogon priest, and I think we'll start there. Let's start with the Dogon, you being a priest, and the mission, the Earth Center, which I've just spoken about, that you've brought to the West. I gave a small snippet, but for those who don't know much about the Earth Center, could you just tell us why the Dogons they've been practicing their tradition all this time? Why have you seen that it was necessary to start the school, and what is the aim of the Earth Center?
Thank you very much, Katasta. And I would like to say thanks to the Wisdom of the Nile show. And also, I would like to say thanks to the Blessed Radio for having us, sharing this knowledge, sharing our wisdom on this side of the world. Yes, it's very interesting because this is actually the first time, since the history of African revolutions and cultural revolutions and spiritual revolution. This is actually the first time that we see an organization that's dedicated for those kind of things, for kind of promoting and preserving most of the values and most of the wisdom and mysteries that human ancestry worked to achieve after generations and generations of work. Before the Earth Center, one thing that we saw in the world, even when we go through the archives and go through the library, the books and everything, even on the internet and all of that, one thing we saw that a lot of people try to stand up, a lot of people try to open, other people's eye, communities, families, and groups of people to open their eyes on a certain reality, certain fact, that we live today as whatever we call the modern society, So trying to do that, some of them were kind of killed, assassinated, murdered. Some of them, were just, in prison. Some of them were just, kind of put, aside and probably classify as mental sick people or anything like that. And we can give examples to all of those people, because a lot of people before my father who taking this opportunity to show my gratitude for being a great teacher, not just for being a father but for being a great teacher. for me, a great master for me. And, with all of the work that he did, I'm really grateful. And I'm sure that many, many people are grateful and feel proud. I really feel proud to be one of his disciple and to be one of the people carrying the torch, that he brought into the West. So before Master Naba, what we kind of saw people trying to do was that, they try everything from, music to, all kind of, revolutions, movements, political movements, spiritual movement, cultural movement. We try everything. If we have to talk about the black people culture, we have to talk about our pride and all of that. We try everything, but at the same time, uh, the white man system didn't let us do it. The Babylonian system didn't let them achieve their goals, didn't let them do it. Then, in Africa at the same time as well, there were a lot of people who were trying. We have some elites, in some elites in the, academy, and then we have some elites in, many, many other domain that try, their best to kind of, stand for themselves and then reclaim that dignity as a people, but even then, they got, killed. Some of them got killed. Some of them, just got, in jail and prison and then remain. Then, or some just disappear. We don't know what happened to them. So we can see that the white man with his machine, and with his, weapons and with his colonial agenda and the religion that he brought to our people, we saw that the white man already kind of conquered everything in the way of manipulation, in the way of denying the black person, denying Africa, denying our continent, all of the qualities and all of the values and all of the good things that Africa worked a long time for. So that's where actually my father thought about another way of doing it, and that other way of doing it is the Earth Center. If I can't, if I cannot, he cannot really convince his own people about the values, about the power, about all of the great achievement that their ancestors achieved in the past. Let me go first of all conquer the one, or actually teach the one who came to corrupt my people, who came to change my people's mind or brainwash my people. And that's what took him to travel to the west. And traveling to the west, the Earth Center did not really start in America. For instance, the Earth Center really started like in Germany. He traveled first in Germany to start the school there, and he started, and politically it wasn't, or politically or whatever reason was, the Earth Center wasn't accepted, was perceived as this poison, that this slow poison, so he was soon kind of aware of that and decided to just go back home and then restart everything in Africa, in Burkina Faso, and from there he decided now to go to US, and then that's when he started the organization Chicago. What's the Earth Center? In the original language, the hieroglyphs, the Medu language, the Earth Center, we will say Kepta, meaning the Earth Center, the center of the Earth. So Kepta is a mission, very old mission. When I say old, I'm not talking about something that started like 3 generations ago, 4 generations ago. It's a mission that started since the time of the pharaohs, right after the invasion, and when the pharaoh Ramses the second, who actually is almost the last pharaoh that the Kemetic temples our culture can look as a legitimate pharaoh. After Ramses II, all of the other pharaohs that get to come were just like corruption of our temples and corruption of in our civilization that was brought by the Greeks and the Romans and the Arabs and all of that, the Persian, So that mission started since the time of Ramses, when Ramses told all of the elites of knowledge, all of the guardian of mysteries, whether in the temples, name it, astronomy, all of those domain, healing, every aspect of life. The elite was, ordered to migrate and to just keep traveling around, just keep traveling, and make sure to really preserve the knowledge. Certain aspect of the knowledge that our people kind of mastered, or our people work on for a long time and achieved, were kind of preserved, and we didn't want, our ancestors didn't want those knowledge or mysteries to fall in the hands of the enemy, or in the hands of, actually those people weren't our enemies, actually, like the Greeks, the Arab, the Romans, when they came, Persian, when they came, invading and all of that, just out of retaliation, out of rebellion, out of anger, just coming to take something that they know they didn't work for, they don't know the origin of it, but they just want to take it because they think it's power. They think that will bring them authority, that will bring them power. So when those that we call, the novice, those, we call them Gerka because we consider them to be like in the darkness, those living in darkness, those that have their spirit still in the darkness. So when they came and they were trying to snatch everything, there were a lot of things in archives, a lot of achievements that you don't want to fall in the hands of those people. With the little bit that they were able to, acquire, they were able to take, steal. You can see how your modern society is now. That's with the little bit. They didn't even get a lot. That's with a little bit. Now they still have a lot of, the Kemetic stuff, a lot of our forefathers stuff in their museums that they keep. You go to British Museum, you go to Louvre, you go to Museum of Turin and all of that. You can see that it's only our stuff that are sitting there, like our culture, our history is the one sitting in those people's glasses. So they still trying to figure out a lot of our ancestors' achievement. There's a lot that we're still trying to figure out. They don't know yet. This is why even they were obliged to create another discipline in academy, in the modern academy, which is the Egyptology. Because you cannot be living the logic of someone who's thinking right. Is like you cannot be living in America or living in how do you call it, in England or in France, and then going to those universities and saying like you studying Egyptology. Egyptology is Egypt or whatever civilization that was started in Egypt. That's not on any of those lands. It's almost like living in your house but trying to study someone's house, or what's happening in someone's house. So technically, trying to figure out, and them lacking the humility and lacking the discipline to come back and ask our elders, ask our people back in Africa. So our forefathers, I mean, their forefathers took all of this away long time ago, but they don't know what this is used for. They don't know what this is, and we're coming back to really trying to see if you can help us understand it. There's going to be two possibilities, and those possibilities will be you have to bring it back to our land, and then we can explain what it is, or we can get them to be useful, or you can just keep them there but still have to just keep working hard to figure out what those things that you have sitting in your museum and in your underground, sitting there trying to figure out. You can just keep them there, and then it's just going to be sitting there, But we have elders who are still dying, who are dying now. We have a lot of people, guardian of mystery and knowledge, who are dying now. Now, because of death, because that's one thing we don't control as human. We might consider we have all of the powers of the on earth, but one power we have is that we don't control time. Time will take us one day like that. So since our ancestors were so smart and they know what they were working on, yeah, they said it's better to just start a mission. And that mission is what? It's really like training uh, young people, initiating young people and training them and giving them the mission of one, first of all, passing down the knowledge, passing down the secrets, passing down the mysteries. And then one day, once, that youth, or once those people are ready and feeling like, okay, now they master everything, they want to really take the revolution to reclaim the values, and to reclaim the object, and reclaim the divinities, and reclaim all of the things that were stolen away from us, then we would do that. Now that's where Marx, after ages and after generation and generation, passing it down from generation to generation, from father to son, mother to daughter, from teacher to disciple, we got to the place where today, we're still working hard trying to achieve that mission. And yes, that mission is working, it's going, and Master Naba understood like it was better to take the mission in the house of the invader, and then try to invade his house as well. But invaded with that, bloodshed, invaded with honesty, with dignity, and also with pride. So, and that's what he did. And I think in the whole history of humanity, apart from Marcus Garvey, who tried something like that, that I would take the advantage here to say, chapeau, as we say in French. I would say that Master Naba was one of those people who had that courage and that intelligence and clairvoyance to do that. Now nowadays, a lot of people are lost, in the West, and then some of them think they don't have home in Africa, or even some of them were taught that African were the ones to sell them their forefathers. Yeah, things happen in history, and in the families people fight. Not because you fight in a family and then you stop talking, or you stop, being family. You want to remain family wherever happen. Then at some point there needs to be that time where the diaspora and the descendant of the slavery and all of that will have to sit with Africa. And I mean, whether you want it or not, even the white man himself, the one owning this system that we call modern, that we live in, one day will have to come to the conclusion like he needs to go back and sit under the feet of our elders to learn, and then see where to take this world to. So this is really like the kind of mission we're carrying as the Earth Center now. The doggone, how did we come into this? Our forefathers happened to be one of the greatest elites at that moment, working for the pharaoh, and everything was based on the bloodline, the lineage, and knowledge, and passing down the knowledge was based like on the lineage. So you just don't give certain mysteries and knowledge to some people, to someone who's not part of your lineage, because we have like the lineage of the priesthoods, the lineage of the blacksmiths, the lineage of the carpenters, the lineage of the farmers, the lineage of the animal breeders. We have all kind of those lineage, and then every one or every individual in those lineage will just dedicate themselves in being better, in that lineage and in that domain, and understanding it better. It's almost like my family is coming from the lineage of the priesthood, so there's no way I will be competing with someone who's from the lineage of farmers or the lineage of blacksmith, because I don't know how to, work fire. I don't know how to work iron. So that's how we were, our society was organized. And now at some point, we just help each other. We just live communally. If I need a Mercedes to go do some work, then I have to go to the blacksmith and ask, I need this. Next time the blacksmith needs something from a priest, he will come to me. He needs some herbs to heal himself, he will come to me. If I need some, corn for my family, I'll go to the farmer. And the farmer who needs, the hoe or the machetes to work, to farm, will go to the blacksmith. So that's how the society was organized. It wasn't individual. It was kind of, communism was a communal. So at the rise of the two blocks of, the modern society, meaning the socialism and the capitalism and all of that, that's where, everything just got mixed into the, and that's even why those modern societies are still fighting now. So we come to be in the picture as the those that were in charge of preserving and keeping those knowledge or those mysteries into secret, and for thousands of years, at the time where the royalties of England, the royalties of Portugal, the royalties of Rome, the royalties of everywhere, they thought, even Saudi Arabia or the Arab countries, once they all decided like they want to take the leadership of the world, and the pharaoh, they were able to invade, destroy everything, and they thought they will be the one to take over. uh, our ancestors just didn't want to fight. They just told them, okay, go ahead. I mean, go ahead and do it, because you just don't get to sit in a seat and be called a king or a queen or a pharaoh just because, or a president, just because you know how to talk or you know how to fight. It takes knowledge, it takes wisdom, it takes a lot of things. So, and then leading humanity is not a village. We're talking about everything on the planet. It's not just your village or your house. So somehow, trying to do that, our ancestors just told them, okay, go ahead. But that gives us time. That gave our ancestors time to kind of reconvene, to kind of gather themselves, restart everything, reset the temples, reset the initiation temples, and camps and all of that, to restart everything. And it gave us like a lot of time to even like re-educate many generations to the point of today. And then it's only like about 50 years ago that the mission really started, like, okay, now it's time, let's go out and tell the world that we didn't die, we still exist, but we were just passive, and then in the darkness. So the initiation was really happening for those 2,000 years that we've been the world, the modern society have been ruling. We just kind of sleeping and then reconvening ourselves, because every civilization will rise and fall. And then this shouldn't be like a new to someone, to people living in the modern society. You can see your civilization here is fallen, but we're trying to rise up now. And then this is where the Earth Center comes to be, with all of the gadgets that we're bringing with us. And we know we cannot do it on our own, because somehow we thought slavery was a disadvantage for Africa, or a disadvantage for our people, or for our temples, for our royalties. At some point, we thought, with a clear mind and a brain that sees, far, we thought everything. We're like, well, actually, we didn't lose, because now just bring the knowledge back and then teach it to the descendant of those we were kind of captured during the slavery. And then they have their DNAs. In their DNAs, they still have all of those things that are sleeping, that the white man has been working hard to keep them asleep, to make sure they don't wake up, they don't get to understand that they have this power that's sitting somewhere, or they have this intellectual power that's sitting somewhere. So for the modern society, and those leading or controlling the modern society, they know that once the descendant of slavery wake up, to realize that something within them is strong, and then something somewhere is sitting waiting for them. And once they turn their eyes to say like, let's go to where everything is sitting and waiting for us. This place is going to be, turned into ashes. This place will just fall apart. And that's what Marcus Garvey was trying to do. And then for sure they have to do what they have to do to him too. Yeah, my father tried to do it, and he did the part. He played his part, and then it's up to us now to play our part. So we're just trying to activate, all of those DNAs and all of those things sitting there, that every woman, every man, every descendant of the original civilizations. It's not just about the skin color. It's more about the DNA. It's more about the blood. It's more about the lineage, the original lineage. Because some lineage right now are like breeds. They just like they just happen to be because of certain mixtures. But some lineage are just there, and they have their DNAs that are sitting and then sleeping, and you just have to activate those. And that's when my father decided to come and inject all of those knowledge and mysteries and all of that into people through only what? Through just like 3 disciplines. The language, the pure language, the language that we speak, a pure language, concept and sounds and vibration and all of that. And then the original way of purification, original way of reaching, praying or meditating or reaching to trying to reach the other dimensions and all of that. And I mean, while the modern system is building, a lot of space, whatever craft to go to discover other spaces, other realities. Our ancestors, thousands of years ago, know how to just sit under a tree, sit in their houses, sit in their caves, and then travel and be in the other visit other celestial bodies, other dimensions. So apart from that, healing is very important, because what people don't understand, like once you don't get to grow your food, you don't get to see how your food grow, whatever goes in your stomach. That's how we say in my culture, like, be careful. You can be, you can decide to be like ignorant about everything in your life and feel like, oh, everything will be okay. But one thing that is not okay is whatever you put in your mouth. And once you swallow it, it doesn't come back out. It just has to go. And if it's going to do a damage, it's going to do its damage before it comes out. If it's meant to come out, it will come out. So we really need to be careful with what we're eating and all of that, because even whatever we're eating here, the system is making sure to put everything in to kill your DNAs that are sitting there that can one day wake up. And that's why when there's a problem and then, the black people come out say, we want this, it's like a problem. It has to finish like in bloodshed. Because we have things that are very powerful sitting within us that we have to really learn how to maintain, and that's where the Earth Center, come to be.
You're in tune to the Wisdom of the Nile show. We're talking to Naba, Iritah, Shemnira. We will be opening the lines now. I'm going to give you the number, but well, if you want to call in now, you can. But it's 079 444 31366. That's 079 444 31366. Naba.
Yes, Catasta.
Now, Duawu for that. Duawu's thank you. Really, wow, yeah, thank you for that. Another area within the tradition that most people, when they come upon the tradition, they see this aspect associated with it, and it's the aspect of ancestors. Could you enlighten us? What is the importance of ancestors, and why is it so important in the traditions?
It's not just in our culture, because when you are a human being that's very intelligent, you are a human being that has a brain that's a good brain that works as a brain. That's a brain that's not alienated, a brain that's not destroyed, a brain that's not, killed or washed. You know that you came from a father and a mother. You are a result of a father and a mother. And you know your father is a result of another woman and another man. And you know your mother is a result of another woman and another man. Let's not talk about, the generation of the modern societies now, where a lot of dirtiness, a lot of animalistic, ways of life are being introduced into human life. Just let's talk about originally how human being really lived. Even within the gods, we have like, male gods, and we have like female gods. Okay, and we have male gods and female gods who have like baby gods. We have that. We have male deities, female deities. We have, baby deities as well. So the same way all of that exists, we know that no matter what God we all believe into, we all pray, those God didn't just choose to bring us into life on earth, just, bringing out, okay, grown just like a mushroom. Oh, now you are born. Or grown just like a mango fruit. Oh, now you ripe, and you mean that mean that you been born. No, they choose to go through human beings, the gods themselves, whether it's Allah, whether it's Jehovah, name it, whatever God you believe into, whatever superpower you believe into, you know. From old age to new age, whatever you believe into, one reality is that you just have to stand in front of the mirror, look yourself into the mirror, and you will see that all of the things you will see on you, in you, inside you, is something that's coming from your mother and your father. It's not something that's coming from you. And it's not something that's coming from a God. God did not make you. Because God knows that your mother might be weak, your mother might have some shortcomings. God might know that your father might be weak, might have some shortcomings, but God Himself decided to place you through some chemistry, to place you into the human being, through two human beings just trying to do something, just for their pleasure to be, to satisfy their pleasures and their mission on earth. And somehow you happen to be, you know, and suddenly you want to give the credit to a God for bringing you, or for being the reason why you are on earth. That's in reverse thinking. That's like an alienation. That's like a brain that's degenerating. Because if we have to be honest with ourselves, it's your mother or your father to show you what God is. It's your mother or your father to show you the sun, to show you this is what you call sun, this is what you call moon. It's your mother and your father to show you how to make your first step and all of that. They take care of you. They did a lot. Imagine yourself when you were born as a baby. If anyone, you listen to me, you ever seen the baby, a newborn, who just been born like a day ago, you look at that baby, there's nothing that baby can do for itself. That baby cannot even roll on the side. That baby cannot change its own diaper. That baby cannot feed itself. That baby cannot do any of that. You needed someone to do that for you. And you needed your mother, you needed your father, you needed your family to do that for you. So with all of that those people will do for you, to the point where you're going to learn at some point how to turn, how to roll over, how to crawl, how to sit, how to, start standing up, walking, and then become a woman and a man And suddenly you want to give the credit to a Jesus, you want to give a credit to Mahomet. Where were they when you were being born? You want to give a credit for Jesus dying for you while your mother and your father was cleaning your caca, cleaning your pee, cleaning behind you, educating you, doing everything. You're sick, it's your mother or your father who's there, like, question himself. If you're a parent, you should know what it takes when you have a child that's sick. Jesus wasn't around there to be going through all of that. Mahomet wasn't around to be going through all of that. So, uh, our ancestors didn't know about all of that before even they start worshiping, their ancestors. Because Jesus and Mahomet are like very, very, they just happen to be like mushrooms, the way mushrooms grow, they just happen to grow and grow big because the system is supporting them, because it's helping alienate human brain. It's helping kill the intelligence of human. So that's why they just grown, so big, and then churches and mosques growing everywhere like mushrooms and all of that. But this is the reality. Our ancestors were worshiping the dead long before that. Why? Because there's only a simple question to ask. And when you have your head stable on your neck, that question is, what's the goal of life? Why do we live? Why did I come on earth? Why was I born? Now, let's say for some reason you have an answer for that question. You might know the goal of your life, probably not the goal of life, but the goal of your life that you might somehow decide to know. Now, after that goal, after that life, where do you go? What happened? What happened to that goal? What's going to be used? What's going to be the use of that goal after your life? Because we all know that death exists. We all know that we have to die at some point. We all know that we have a lot of people who die already that we don't see anymore. They're gone, finished. They're not coming back. We don't know. Are they coming back? No one knows. But our ancestors, were questioning themselves, because depending on, my master used to say, the universe will respond to you or answer your question depending on how you ask those questions. And a long time before the rise of this evil system or ignorant system, our ancestors asked those questions. And death suddenly became no more a mystery. Because still now, for a lot of people, even in this society, death is like a mystery. To say that someone died, someone passed away, it's like a mystery. The only thing you get to see is like the body that's not active anymore, that's not moving anymore, that cannot do anything. And probably if you leave it outside, it's just going to start rotting and then smelling and all of that. That's what everybody see. But once you focus on only that, that also proves how your life is just like materialistic. You only live for the matter. You don't know that something exists beyond the matter. Something exists beyond things that you can feel, or see or touch. So our ancestors were able to work on their perception, on their clairvoyance, on their intelligence, on their ways of trying to understand if this space where we sit in life is empty. Are these walls like the only thing that's like our limit, boundaries right now? No. So they push their intelligence all the way to the 4 pillars of the universe to try to understand what's at the end of the universe, what's at the end of the planet, what's at the end of everything that we see. Is there anything else? With that kind of intelligence, we don't have human beings don't have that kind of intelligence nowadays on any land. We don't have that anymore because we kind of went through alienation a lot, especially in the societies that have been colonized or modernized and all of that. So with those kind of aspects, when the person wake up, they just dedicate themselves only to question existence, to question the universe. That's what they do. That's their job. That's a way of life for them. It's not like they have to wake up and be like, oh, let me go in the office work, and then when you come home, you're tired, you try to get some rest, or you try to feed your children, you try to spend time with your children, then suddenly you want to be there like reading your book or checking on the internet to see like if the universe is going to answer your question. No, it's not. It wasn't working like that for those ancestors. It was, more like you wake up, your time is like, this is what you do. Sunrise, sunset, the person just questioning, what's death? What's behind, death? What happened to my ancestor, my father that just passed away? What happened to them? People have those questions, and they question existence, and they question the universe, and the universe gave them the answers, depending on how they question them. And the answers came with a simple way. Do you know the saying, as above, so below, as below, so above, to make the unity of the same thing? That's a very old saying, a very old precept in our temples, and the universe responded to our ancestors, just telling them the way you live in your material world down there is the same way we live on the other side. The same reality that we're facing here are the same realities over there. Why? What makes it same reality? Because you are invisible. You don't die anymore. You don't get sick. You don't have all of those kind of difficulties. So what's really the same? So they went through those questions. They found out that when a human being die, and the soul and the spirit leaves the body. First of all, let me clarify that, because in the modern societies, with the religions and all of that, people don't know the difference between the soul and the spirit, or even the soul, the spirit, the mind. People don't know that there's a big difference between those concepts. But those are part of what compose human being. Those are the components of human being. And for a long time, religions taught, Oriental religion or even Abrahamic religion taught about the soul and the spirit, about the soul, the mind, the spirit, and all of that. I think they even went far talking about conscious or awareness, something like that. No. The human being is composed of this, just parenthesis. The human being is composed of four big elements that makes you a human being. And you can accept to agree, or you can accept to deny. But at the end of the day, that's really what you are. We have the soul, we have the spirit, we have the body, and then the name. Those are the four things, according to our temple, according to our ancestors. Those are the four things that make a human being a human being. And even for us worshiping ancestors or standing on ancestral spirits, without the name and without the spirit, you can't really worship an ancestor. Okay, because at the end of the day, when someone died, the soul just leaves the body, and then it become like the soul is a property of the universe. The soul is like the breath. That's what's making us function. The soul is almost like the gasoline that you put in your engine for your engine to work. And when the gasoline finish, the engine stop. That's what the soul is almost. And the body, you die, the body is gone as well. The only two things that exist and remain in the memory of the earth and the memory of the existence is your name and your spirit. So our ancestors saw that when someone died, the spirit continue its journey, because the spirit now is able to just live in the spiritual world without having any attachment to something that's material. So it just continues its journey. But how is the spiritual world? That's something that people will also need to ask themselves. The spiritual world is just like a reality where there's no boundaries, a reality where time and space does not affect. time and space affect us because we are in this body. Once you're not in the body, time and space does not affect you. For instance, when you go to sleep at night and you start dreaming, that's because your spirit is able to leave the body to go to the spiritual realm, into the spiritual realm. And when the spirit is there, he can get to travel anywhere. He can get to go wherever he wants to go. If you dream that you're flying, you dream that you know eating food, you cooking, you playing with kids, you playing with you're fighting and all of that, the spirit will go to any domain. You've been with some extraordinary beings, all of that. The dream can get to do that. The spirit can get to do that because your body is shut down, and your spirit can get to free itself and then go do those things and come back. So that's almost like a small death. When you go to sleep, you're dying like that's like just dying, but somehow you still have the soul. That's kind of running the body. That's why you're not like dead. Okay, so when you die, our ancestors understood like you're just like a baby that was just born on the other side. A baby that was just born here is somebody that died in the spiritual world to come here. And a person that died from this world to go to the world of the dead is someone who's been born over there. So that person still needs the care. That's the spirit of that person still needs the care, the same care that we give to a baby that comes to us when you receive your newborn. So that baby still needs that. That spirit still needs that. It needs water. It needs foods. It needs praise. It needs to be, to be show love. It needs to all of that. That spirit still needs that on the other side. And once that spirit is able to get that, and you give it all of that care, and then the spirit gets to now feel comfortable in the non-material world, the effect of that spirit to you in this material world is positive and is comfortable. And anything you need, like our ancestors didn't just build like pyramids because alien came to teach them. No, our ancestors built the pyramid because they have spirits that can come and then communicate with them. Like when I go to sleep and my ancestor spirit is in a good state, in a comfortable state in the non-material world, when my spirit leave, my spirit will go and then visit them over there. And whatever teaching, whatever things I need to know about my life, by the time I wake up, I'll be like, oh, I just had a dream with my great-grandfather, or I just had a dream with this, and then it said this, and then you wake up and then you see things happening. And then you will be like, oh, deja vu. No, it wasn't a deja vu. It's just like you travel to in the future to go see what's going to happen, and they will show you that. So we have to keep that communion between us and our deceased, those who die, those who depart. We have to keep that, and they need our assistance because they have at least 3 to 4 main stages that they have to cross when they start their journey in the spiritual world, and they need our assistance there. And the first one is the first one is being able to detach from the body. And then the second will be like, the duat. The third one will be like the restau. And then they continue to the world of the dead, Imentet, where they're going to now be getting ready to be reincarnated again if they make it to the world of the dead, if they make it to the Imentet. And restau, that's even the reason why we have the word rest, because that's where the spirit will have to rest and then get some refreshment. Like when we present them offerings, that's where they come to get it. And that's why even in our language we call it the restau. The restau means like where the spirit has to rest before they continue their journey. And that's what the Greeks took, and then they call the place where you go to eat when you travel, or the place where you go to eat, where you want refreshment, they call that place restaurants. So we have the that communion that still with us that we can really break because our ancestors are us. Like my father, my mother, my great great great, all of those ancestors before me, those who carry this blood before me and already died, those I know, those I don't know. I'm like the sum up of all of them. I'm like a result of all of them. All of them leave me. Whether they were, rapists, whether they were good people, whether they were bad people, evil people, assassin, murderers, no matter what they were in their past life, in their lives, I have all of that within me. But I'm coming now to correct certain things, and I might make some other mistakes while being here that my children somehow are coming to correct, or my great great grandchildren will be coming to correct some mistake that I'll be making. And that's why we have the commandments. That's why we have a code of life. That's why we have the culture. That's why we have the customs. That's why we have the natural laws. That's why we have the, universal principles. Certain things that you don't do, and certain things that you know you can do that will not affect your descendants, or that will not affect, your ascendants. So I hope that's a little bit, clear why we have to do that, because it's important. It's not just like African people only, because even me getting the chance to travel around the world, travel around, the Western countries, I see a lot of things. I see a lot of shrines that people consider as a monument. A monument cannot just be like something you build for people to come and look and take picture. There's a lot of monuments I see in the city of London, and then people don't know that those were like shrines that the original people here were worshiping, giving offerings, doing things, praying to those things. I mean, you consider the Stonehenge, that's a proof that this place, before, the Roman or the Anglo-Saxon and all of that, before all of them, people on this land were worshiping ancestors and were in touch with the, spiritual world and the other dimensions, and were in touch with not the alien, but with spirits or other entities of this universe. We don't call them alien. We call them, spirits. We call them, entities of other universes that comes. They were in touch. Once you see those kind of settlements, those kind of, establishment in places on the land, you know that it's a land that's purely ancestral. They worship ancestry. They worship ancestors. They worship deities. They worship nature. They worship the universe. They didn't worship the politician. They don't worship the queen. They don't worship the president. They don't worship, they worship, things that are powerful than the queen and I, or the president and I, powerful than all of that. So this is really like why we do that. And everywhere human beings worship their ancestors. Human beings know how to show gratitude to someone who sacrificed their life for them, someone who put a lot of effort for them to be, but not someone who was, killed on the cross, or not someone who just like, died somewhere, Mahomet or Jesus. No, we don't worship. Those are not our relatives. We don't even know them. They don't know you. You don't know them. They don't know me. I don't know them. We don't have the same blood. We have a connection only to our family, and our family is the only thing, that. And even the same people who brought us like those belief of Jesus and Muhammad are the same people destroying us, are the same people even like breaking the same teaching, breaking the laws, or violating the same teachings that they've given us. So we in my country, our former president, Thomas Sankara, said that the religious people betray their prophets by using their prophets' messages as a whip, and whipping, their followers, and things like that. So using those books to just, keep people alienated, and that's what we see. It's difficult to accept it, but that's what it is.
You're in tune to the Wisdom of the Nile show. We're talking to Naba Iritah Shemnira. 07944433136 if you want to get interactive. We're going to take a short musical interlude and we'll be back shortly on the other side. You're in tune to blessradio.org and you're listening to the Wisdom of the Nile show. I'm Catastrophe Kara and we have here in the studio this evening our very special guest, Naba Iritah Shemnira. 07944431366 is the number to call if you want to get interactive. Naba has been sharing with us some deep knowledge from the traditions, and we really have to give thanks that our ancestors didn't forget about us, because many of us are here on this side of the waters. Our heart, soul and spirit have been crying out, waiting. If we're talking about deliverance, this is what we're talking about. It has to come from our own. It's only our own people can deliver us. So many of us have been waiting for this. So we give thanks for our family who didn't forget us here, who have been exiled in the West. 07944431366 if you want to get interactive. Naba.
Yes.
I have another question for you.
Yes, that's that.
Now, many people know of the Dogons because of this whole aspect of astrology, Sirius, the stars, and so forth. But going through initiation, there is an astral body, a planetary body that, to be honest, I didn't give it as much thought as the stars. And it's going through initiation that I realized how important and the importance that the Dogon placed on this particular planet. The planet I'm referring to is this planet, Earth. Earth plays a huge part in your tradition. And I would like, Naba, if you could share with us some of your concepts and your understanding, your wisdom around what we call tar, Earth.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's actually a big subject and a very very pertinent question because you can just say that you can just say that you are trying to uh, reach other planets just by sorry, that's my phone, sorry. Yeah, you can just uh, say you want to reach the other dimensions, you want to reach other planets, you want to understand the star, you want to study them. Actually, our ancestors did not study the star. In my culture, we don't study the star. Even when you say astrology, that would be like, trying to study the star, but we don't study them. Uh, Planet Earth, one of the most powerful planets in the universe. And I'm sure a lot of people, before my age, I'm just young, before my age, a lot of so called scholars taught a lot about celestial bodies, even to the point where they thought about how even the sun that we see every day is the center of our solar system. I don't even know what that means, solar system, you know. But what about the planet that we're living on? The planet that feeds us, the planet that takes care of us, the planet that gives us everything we need. What about that planet? We keep focusing on trying to do what nature, hasn't done yet. And when you see a society of people, a group of people focusing themselves on those kind of things, that's because they just lost in their own ideologies, on their own ideas. Because once you are lost, the next thing you're gonna be you want to be looking for will be things that you cannot reach, things that are very far, far away from you. But our ancestors learned how to hang their clothes where they reach. And in trying to gain that humility, in showing that humility vis-a-vis the universe, vis-a-vis nature, nature also reveal itself to them, and the universe reveal itself to them. The planet is in relation with other planets. We live on one. The universe is made of planets, galaxies, constellations, stars, moon, sun, all of that. The universe is made of all of that. And all of those celestial bodies keep a very distinguished and systematic and respectful relationship towards each other in the universe, within the universe. And our ancestors just try to see, first of all, how can we live harmoniously with the planet that's taking care of us. This is even the reason why in our cultures we have ways to make the rain come. We have ways to make, the fish. If there's no fish, I mean, Jesus wasn't the first. He wasn't the first one to make, the fish out of the river, because those are things that our ancestors would do. To the point where you will go into a house, or you go in the savannah, people don't know what adversity life can bring in people's life. We live in the savannah. We get to have rain maybe 2 months out of a year. So consider yourself in a place of in a desert where it's rain almost like once 30 years, every 30 years. How will you survive? So ancestor will have to understand all of that, will have to question all of that. And question all of that, the earth also reveal itself to them. Universe reveal itself to them, nature reveal itself to them, to the point where, a bowl of rice or millet can feed a whole village. Just a bowl of rice can feed a whole village. That's all we have to cook today. That's all the earth gave us. What can we do? The king will not keep it for himself, or the minister of the king will not keep it for themselves, or the father in the family just not gonna keep it for himself. He's gonna bring it, and they share, and the earth bless it. And that's where our ancestors understood. Like, so if one grain of rice can just go in someone's mouth and somehow the person can gain energy, or a few grains only, and then you gain energy, that means wherever those grains are coming from, there's an abundance of energy that's within there. And where is the grains are coming from? We put them under the ground, under the dirt, with some sun and some rain. They grow, and then we got more grains. That's even the question. One grain, and then we have many. That means whatever we try to do, if we plant it in the ground, in the earth, the outcome of it will be like multiple. I don't know if you see the analogy. If you put a corn, there's going to be many corn to come. Now, let's put a good thought. Let's put a good thinking in the ground, in the earth, into the earth, and see how many thoughts will come, or how many good thoughts will come. A lot of people have been talking about love. The Bible, the Quran, the Buddhists, the Tibetan, and all of that. Everybody's talking about love and peace and all of that. But no one knows how to plant love. No one knows how to plant peace. No one ever stop, wandering in that utopia and then say, let's really find a good way to plant love and peace. No one ever, did that. We just have to plant some love in the earth, and there's going to be many loves to come. Plant some peace in the earth, and there's going to be many pieces to come. So our ancestor from the grain, that's why we have even some people read like some writings that they wrote about the Dogon. They talk about the potolo, the smaller grain. The grain is the reason why our civilization achieved all of the great things that humanity talk about today. Just because of the grain. But because of grain, for what? Why did the grain become like the cornerstone of everything for us? We were hungry. We live in the savannah. We were migrating. Our ancestors were migrating. They were suffering. They have elders to feed. They have pregnant women to feed. They have children to feed. They didn't have much. Someone who's running away from war, they don't have time to sit in one place and cultivate. They don't even know the place. So from that aspect, they notice that the grain, planted into the earth brings many grains. Then the earth has something to offer. Let's find out what is making the earth multiply everything we put into it. And suddenly they came up with, through researchers, they came up with the concept of the geomancy. The Greek calls geomancy, and our ancestor in our temple we call it the term science. The very, very, very first concept of science ever existed. That's the very first science known to human being. Whatever nowadays we're doing and we call modern society, we call science, no, those are researches. Those are like studies. Because to call something a science, science means it's a knowledge that's already mastered, that's already, proved itself. That's what you call science, you know. So you cannot call chemotherapy science because it's not working. It's not healing cancer. Actually, just helping kill those who have cancer. So you can call all of the medication that you get, say like, those are like scientifically proved. No, they're not scientifically proved because they're not helping you, they're not giving you the solution, they're killing you. Okay, so a science will be like something that is acquired after many generation, proved itself to be working, and that's where the term science comes from. And term science is a science that study the energy of the earth and how the earth behave, or how the earth behave with the rest of the celestial bodies in the universe, and how the earth affects everything that is on it. Because if we can put a grain in and the earth can affect it to multiply it, so all of us living on it, how does it affect us then? Now you bring me back, I can take you back now. Why in our culture we bury our dead? We don't burn them, we bury them because we know that the powers or the energy, whatever good thing they have, whatever they say they want to be, you want goodness, whatever goodness you want them to achieve for you, once they're buried and they're underground, you just have to ask that to them, and then the earth also will support and then multiply it for you. So that's why we even worship our ancestors, and then we even worshiping them, we prefer burying them, putting them under the ground. And then anytime we need their assistance, we just go to them, and then they know how, the energies will just kind of multiply as well. So the earth is a very big, scam that science, astronomy, even those studying astrology, the whole modern ideologies, that's like one big thing that they misunderstood. That's one big thing that they didn't know, that they have to base on that. Now actually the way even we live in our life now nowadays, being in the hands of the ignorant living this world, what they do is that they prefer even destroying the earth, taken from the earth, destroying the earth, to be able to survive, or to be able to even go discover other planets, while you just have to be harmonious and then be humble to the earth and know how to deal with it, and then the earth itself will reveal what the other planets are. It's not like the Dogon traveled to the constellations. We didn't have ships, and our eyes couldn't see miles. Our ancestors didn't have those things, but through the Mtam science, through mastering like the energies of the earth and dialoguing with the energies of the earth, they were able to get some information about the rest of the celestial bodies. You can ask about what is on the moon, just asking the earth. It's almost like a catastrophe sitting in front of me here. I can ask you, to tell me how your husband look like. Once you're able to tell me how your husband look like, I have an image of when I see him, I will know him. I'll guess this might be Katasa's husband. Or, sir, do you know this lady called Katasa? Yes, that's my wife. Oh, okay. So this is how we question, existence. You question the earth will give you some signs, will give you some proverbs, will give you some, truth. And through that truth, now with that truth, you keep checking. And I keep comparing with that truth, that truth with reality. And then the earth proves you like, yeah, this is what it is. And then they were able to discover series A, B, C, discover other planets and all of that just by being able to understand planet Earth and submitting themselves to it. Nowadays, we have people believing that they can just take some herbs and then elevate. They can just take some medicine and elevate. I deal with a lot of people who think nowadays, like some cultures telling them they can just take like kind of, ayahuasca, what the one from Gabon, mushrooms, and things like that, expecting to be able to reach the, the invisible world. No, everything happen with the earth. Everything just have to go with the earth. Even the thing that you taken is a product of the earth. It's product of the earth. Now the earth produced that, but the earth produced that not for you to take it that way. But you can go through the earth and then be able to really do the same thing. So that was a big thing that the modern civilization missed. Even the modern science, and all of them, if they can just stop and reconsider going back in trying to really understand our planet and deal with it in a better way, they would know that a lot of things will be easy to deal with.
Wow, Naba. If you want to hear more from Naba Iritah, he will be speaking tomorrow at the Leicester African Caribbean Community Centre. That's in Maidstone Road, Leicester, LE200UA. He will be speaking about the science of the Dogon, ancient Kemet. So that's tomorrow, Thursday, the 30th of May. He will be speaking there. And can I just get this clarity on air, Naba? So the importance of a family, a Dogon perspective, which is Saturday, the 15th of June, 6:30 to 8:30. Can we confirm that you will be doing that talk at the London School here in Leytonstone?
Yes.
Yay! Right. So
Yes, I will be.
good. So Saturday the 15th of June, 6:30 to 8:30, we will have a talk by Naba Iritah Shemnira. You've heard him say it here today. It's on the importance of family, a Dogon perspective, and that's at 21 Sunnyside Road, Leyton, London, E10 7BB. If you want to contact the London School, you can call 0207 175 4144. If you would like to email, you can email at inquiries-uk@theearthcentre.org. And if you'd like to go and check out the website, the Earth Centre's website, you can go on to all the W's, the Earth Centre, that's centre with CNTER.org. The event price is £7. So, for the knowledge that you're going to get £7. And that's also the same price for Coventry. You're listening to the Wisdom of the Nile show. We are speaking with Naba Iritah, Dogon priest from Burkina Faso. Let me give you the number as well. And in case anyone wants to get interactive, it's 079 444 31366. That's 079 444 31366. We have half an hour left on the show. So if you need to get your questions, you should get them in now because your chance is going to go. Now, Naba. All right. So I actually was going to start off asking you about Meritah because you've recently come, but so now we've gotten to this part of the show. I would like to ask you about that because I know that once a year the Earth Centre has a pilgrimage to Meritah, Africa, where those who have the opportunity can get a chance to visit the temples, can get a chance to go to the Aisha Healing Center, can get a chance to visit places like Benin, can get a chance to go to what you call, and which I realized because I'd been to Africa before several times, but when we went to the Earth Center, you said you've been to Africa, but you haven't been to Meritah. And I understood what you meant when we actually traveled to Meritah with you to go back to the tradition. So I know that you've just come back from a pilgrimage and there's going to be another one this year. Could you just enlighten us a bit more on that?
Yeah, one thing Master Naba was very, very serious about was the fact that he, after giving you the knowledge, after being able to activate whatever needed to be activated within you spiritually, intellectually, he didn't just want to leave you on the slave master's land where you're going to keep serving the slave master. He said, it'll be better to, now that you know who you are and things are activated in you, within you, to go and then make them, be useful. Because over here, they're not going to be useful. Once you gain all of this knowledge and then you think you're going to be, function with it on this part of the world, everything here is just about money. Everything here is just about, hustling and going from frustration to frustration. You're not even going to have time to sit and then use that genie of you, like ingenuity of you, to really grow. So, I mean, we have a saying that, to call someone like an intelligent person or an ingenious person, it has to depend on how free the spirit of the person is. Because ingenuity comes from free spirits that are free to do things, to explore things. Now, with frustrations and all the things that you're going through here, everyday life, to make the both ends, meet, it's going to be like challenging. Now, he made sure like every year we go, it's part of one of our principles, which is like we have to go home every year. Even though we still live here, we have to make sure every year we go home. We go home to see how home is. We go home to benefit from home. Home is home. You can run away from home. You can't come here and then call London your home, because it's not your home. That's like Queen Elizabeth owned this. You don't own it. Your ancestors don't own this. You don't go to America and call America home, because Trump's own it. It's not your father. It's not your relative. So home is just home. No matter what we think about home, how bad we think about our home, how dark we think about our home is, how destructive our home might be, it's still home. In my place, even a crazy person that you see in the street walking naked in the street in the day, at night, go in the street, you're not going to see them, because they know how to go home. They know their home, and they know how to walk back and go sleep their home. Next morning, wake up, come walk in the street again naked, and then every night, go sleep in their homes. They know home. And that's the goal, because once you want to show that you are a cultural revolutionary, you are a spiritual revolutionary, you are a conscious human being, you are aware, you are black, pro-black, movement or whatever you doing. Once you don't know home, you don't know home. You still crazy. You still slave. And that's why I tell people who come to most of our lectures, who come to initiation. That's how we always tell them, like, they will be telling us about, scholars, they will be telling us about, oh, I studied under this person, I studied under this person, you studied under that person. And what's the name of the person again? Doctor something, professor something. Okay. And they teach African stuff, they teach African spirituality, they teach African culture, and they are doctor. We don't have those degrees in our culture. Those degrees, I don't know how you call those denomination. They don't come from our culture. You cannot be, you cannot be claiming that you are from one thing and then you call yourself another thing. You cannot be, your words and your behavior or your life needs to be the same. And that's when we know that you are a stable human being, So when people come and they say all of those things, one question I just get to really ask those people is like, so why is that person a doctor? Or why is that person a professor? at least if you were a professor and then you came to realize that, or you were a doctor, you came to realize that your culture is valuable, you need to value it, you need to share it, then just cut it off, cut that doctor off, or cut that professor off, and then throw it away somewhere in the garbage, and then be yourself, and then be. You cannot be hanging on that, and then trying to prove like so. Or most of the things that we also notice, like people trying to just teach other people about places they never been, about culture they never get to be close to. A lot of people are talking about Kemet, are talking about ancient Egyptian teachings and knowledge, talking about teaching Dogon stuff or traditional stuff or Vodun stuff or Ifa or name it, all of those Yoruba, but they never really get a chance to be close to it. They never even travel, just out of reading books and all of that. You just keep. It's almost like perpetuating the destruction, perpetuating the agenda of the one who wants to see us alienated, the one who wants to see us degenerated. That's like perpetuating all of that. But it takes only what? Detachment, humility, and discipline to be in Merita, as we say. We don't say Africa. To be in Merita, live with those people in their houses, bushes. Actually, white people do that. Peace Corps. America has a program, Peace Corps. They send people to go live with our elders in the bushes and then learn medicine. Learn a lot of things. Learn healing. Learn spirituality. Learn how to do things. But only people who don't do that is the descendant of that continent. Almost they're scared of who? What is it about your home to really be scared of it? What is it about, how bad can your home be to really even be scared of it? Chinese own the modern society nowadays, but they go home. They have a home to go to, and they go home. Korean, they go home. Japanese, they will go home. Indian, here, will go home. African, descendant of African, don't like going home. It's almost that they don't have home. But you even the one who have the biggest home. And those people even that have like their homes that they come here to make money, to make all of the power, and they're going their home. Now even are trying to be the one now to take your home. And you're going to be slave in your home at some point in one day. And we're not wishing that, And now, the white man is the only one who doesn't have a home to go to. Because this is his home. This is the European is the only one who doesn't have a home to go to. Because this is his home. But for us, we have even like another agenda where people say we were the first African to be in America. Come on. Even if the eyes don't eat food, the eyes know what the stomach, need. Or the eyes know what is good for the stomach. So we have to reconsider, we have to just, all of this is just like, ideologies that people are bringing to run away from the concept of they're going home. Because home is not easy. Home is hard. So every year we get a chance to take our initiates and our members of the Earth Center, the members of the Earth Center, we get a chance to take them home for a period of 2 months. And 2 months is the minimum. You can stay close to a culture, close to a language, close to a spiritual system to try to really start grasping it. Even 2 months is not really enough. You have to do like 2 months, probably maybe 10 years time, 10 times before you can get to really start grasping it. And we get a chance to do that where we get to introduce people the original way of things. But at the same time, the biggest agenda behind that Master Naba was, pushing is because we want to be the one now writing our history. We are tired people writing about us. We have to rewrite the history. Now, whatever you read in the books and all of that, when you go home, you will see that you have to rewrite it. because you see that there was some lies that you were told when you were going to your university, you were going to your school, and you have to rewrite the history. And as we say, writers change the world. And somehow these places build, educated or train their writers to change the world and make us look down on our home. We have to be now the one to go home and find a way to perceive home as home, and then be able to understand home and be able to write about home and tell now, I mean, the European understand what home is, how big, how valuable our home is. Chinese understand how valuable our home is. Indian, all of them, they understand that. So we're the only one who still don't understand it, and we need to wake up to that reality.
You're in tune to blessradio.org. This is the Wisdom of the Nile show. I'm Catastrophe Fakara. We're speaking with Naba Iritah Shemnira, Dogon Priest. 079-444-31366 if you want to get interactive. But right now, I believe we have a question from our brother Blair in the studio. Yes, my brother. Yes, Bless. Come true.
Don't worry, I won't be long. Thank you for keeping it simple.
Yeah.
All right.
Greetings.
Greetings, brother. Greetings.
Right, first of all, I'd like to say thanks for coming here
Thank you.
and for sharing this knowledge, the lot which I feel is lost knowledge.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of the videos that you've been doing, and there's it's like all culture has been drawn to what you're doing. So I'm listening to you talking for a long time, but I have seen black, white, all different cultures and nationalities drawing towards this doggone move. Why? Because sometimes we think it's ours, it's our African thing, but you've embraced everybody else. Why?
The reason, that's a good question. We get a lot of critiques for that, because there's a movement pro-black, pro-white, pro-Asian, and so and so. We get a lot of those critiques, but our ancestors didn't reject human being. You cannot just reject human being. We have a commandment in our ways of life. We have commandments that we live by, and one of our commandments say, "Thou shalt not deprive a poor person with their subsistence." Meaning, a poor person can be, it's not about food, it's not about material. Somebody who doesn't have knowledge, a spirit that does not have knowledge, a spirit that is not awakened, a spirit that is poor. And if it takes me to be the one to feed that spirit with the goodness that the spirit is in need, that's what I do, because I vow as a priest for goodness. I vow to preserve life. I vow to elevate human beings. So you can choose to elevate one human being and then reject the other human being just because of the color of the skin. Now, what do we really call white? White is a system. White is not the skin color. Even the people that we call white people are not white. They're pink. If you have good eyes and you don't have problem with colors, those skin, you don't call that skin white skin. That's like a pink skin or any other color, but that's not white, because it's not white like this. This is white color.
Why?
Okay, but what we call white is actually a system. Originally is a system. Now, the people that we call the Europeans, overcome, identifying themselves to that system. And that's the system the Rastafarian will call the Babylonian system. Because they overcome, identify themselves to that system. So that's why now they even take pride. It's because it's ignorance on the European side. European mind side is a big ignorance to be accepting to be called like white without even knowing what white mean. Because even if you ask them, what do you call yourself a white person? They're not going to be able to answer your question. Just like how a black person. A black person is not about the color of the skin. A black person is about the values that you live in. And those values make you black, or those values make you white. Just like the white person, the system, the value that that system brought, if you follow those values, then you are white. When you follow you against those values, then they call you black. So the problem is like when the Greeks were taking over our temples and civilization, they came to understand that we call them the spirits in the darkness.
That's what you used to call them.
That's what we used to call the Greeks.
Why?
Because they didn't have any value.
Okay.
They were living according to the white system.
Okay.
They were living according to the Babylonian system. Orgy, drinking, like prostitution, barbarism, no principle. They didn't have ways of life. They didn't have values. We have values. I know that you don't sleep with your brother's wife. I know that you don't steal. If you're hungry, ask. They will give you. So the Greek, even the name Greek, when you say the Greece, like Greek, Greek comes from hieroglyphs, like Gerka, like the spirit that is in darkness. Or that's in return why they gave us the name Africa. Africa, the spirit that is burned.
Okay.
That's what it would mean in our language. That's why we even coming from home, we don't really take pride calling ourselves, oh, I'm an African. No. Or I'm an African descendant. No, I'm not. I'm more than that. I'm not a spirit that is burned.
Well, Africa was named after a person, actually, innit? Because it was Kush before that and thing, innit? So...
Kush was Kush. A lot of I see a lot of propaganda about that as well. But Kush was recent. It's very, very recent. You can separate the culture around that time with the culture that was happening. Maybe in the Central Africa around that time too, because you're talking about one specific land, piece of land. In Africa. Africa is big. Okay, that continent is big. But the culture that we're talking about now is a culture that covered not just, Africa, not just like the land that they call Egypt. Because the land that they call Egypt today is not even a land. Whatever we call Egypt is not a land. Like in our writing, you will never see a land that's called Egypt, like Egyptian civilization. No.
What is it then?
Egypt.
Yeah, if it's not a land, what is it?
Egypt is a way of life.
Oh.
So when that's why a lot of people were attracted to that
Egypt because of the way of life and the
way
teaching.
of life, exactly.
So that's why they call it Egypt. Because of the way of life and the teaching.
In our language, Egypt, like the original word is Ejpta, meaning the rise of Ptah, the rise of the civilization. That's why it's said that Africa is the cradle of humanity, because that's not because first human being was born there. No, it's because that's where for the first time human being gets to know what their brain is useful for and what their spirit is useful for, what their brain and their spirit can do.
Otherwise, that was the first place they woke up.
They woke up. That's where the awakening came for the very, very first time. And that's why everybody was drawn to that over there.
All right, listen. I have got a couple of questions here.
Yeah.
Because you know everything about everything so far, so I'm going to test you a little piece. Still,
Okay.
Yeah? You was talking about your laws. And where do you get your laws from? And are your laws related to the Bible?
No,
and if not, why?
The Bible is very recent, and even when the Babylon built the Bible, wrote the Bible, okay, and even Bible alone, Babylon. So the Bible is too recent, it's too new, it's too young to stand, the ways of life of our people. It's too young. It's like we're talking about, what? They're talking about 2,000 years ago or 12,
Is
2300
there a
years ago.
connection with the laws? Like well, you're saying about some laws and commandments that you have, yeah? Are they being put also into the book, or is it a total different thing?
No, the Bible is a political agenda. Okay, it's human made. Okay, so I cannot take the. I can have the courage to compare the laws in the Bible with the laws that our ancestors lived by. Like in the first of our law is thou shalt not cause suffering to human being or to human. Like in the Bible, you will not say that.
And so it said, thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill. And then we have that too. Thou shalt not kill. You know. So thou shalt not fornicate with the fornicator.
Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife or the neighbor.
Exactly.
Same
Now
thing.
you can see there's a copy
Yeah.
and there's an original.
Right.
You know, but the copy just happened to be, you know, kind of reduced. That's, you know, let me explain why then. Why is because of the concept of liberty. Okay? The concept in the archives, the Greeks and the Romans at some point came to the temple, the priests in the temple, and asked them. It's in the history book. It's in the history books, not the books that you have now. It's like the books of you know, humanity, books of history. You have all of that there. Those archives. They asked the temples like it's too far. Them having to always travel to come to Nile Valley to worship the gods. It's too far. Is there a way that they can reproduce the same culture, the same ways of life in their lands? Like come bring all of that across the sea and then reproduce it here. Said that's not going to be possible. We're going to have to send missions to go help you. And the Earth Center is like one of those kind of missions. And they said no, they want to do it themselves. They don't, because that's a way of taking yourself out of separating yourself from some authority. You want to be your own authority now. So they wanted to separate themselves. So then the priest said no, that will not be possible. So then they asked the priest, I'm gonna just say cut the story short. They asked the priest if they can have their own gods. And the priest asked them, what kind of God? God for what? Because you need to have a God and know what God that God is for. Because a God is an entity, higher being, that also needs to have a function, a role. What will be the role of your God? They say a God for this, and our ancestor priest will be like, no, we have that God already. We want a God for rain. We say we have that God. We want a God for love. Say we have Aisha. Aisha is for that. We want a God for justice. So Mahata is already for that. So you can see there's no emptiness. Everything is already occupied because we're the first to wake up, to be awakened. So we own everything already. So they said they will create. Is there a God for nothing?
For nothing?
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
There's a God for everything.
Exactly. But they have the God of nothing. Actually, the Bible, the Quran, are based on the concept of a God of nothing.
Break down why you say a God of nothing. Explain that part.
The reason I'm saying that is because once they said they want a God for nothing, then meaning a God that does not have any principles. Everything is allowed. You can do anything.
Oh, a godless God.
A godless, no, even a God, whatever we call God is even like a title. It's not even like something that's divine. It's a title. Okay, like the way you say Sir or Lord in English Parliament, it's a title. It's not like a God is a title. That's why the Queen here will be like she is the representation of the God, the divine. She's the source of divine power or something like that. Yeah, and the Pope is like the representation of of God on earth, something like that. But the God of nothing comes with the concept of liberty, freedom.
So is that related to the culture of Rome and the Greek culture?
Exactly. So Rome owned the Bible,
Okay.
and they have to write the Bible accordingly to the God that they vow that they want. That's why nowadays, I mean, you can kill, you can do anything. Vatican can do whatever they want to do.
Because that's the God they serve.
That's the God they serve.
So when they say God we trust, that's the God they trust in.
Yeah, we trust in the evil.
See?
We trust in things that are not, because the God will not punish you. The God of nothing means a God that doesn't have principle. Everything is allowed. You can drink. You can do all of your bad things, from Monday to Saturday, and Sunday, go ask for forgiveness.
We can go deep into this still, because this can go on like said the night. And if you're dealing with a God of nothing, then when you leave this body, where does your soul go? Because
that's why they said in the Bible, the reincarnation doesn't exist. In the Quran, reincarnation doesn't exist.
According to the God that they believe.
Exactly. Then, because you have to live your life freely, enjoy life fully as you want to enjoy it, because when you die, you're not coming back. You have only one life to live.
That's good. That is excellent.
So that's why they have to, do that.
Right. Next question.
Yes.
I've heard a lot about healing, right? I've not really I've listened, but I haven't heard a lot of people talk to you about the healing that goes on in the Dogon tradition. Can you tell me about some of the healings, or one healing that has amazed you? That like, wow, you know what I mean? Because everybody's gone, not everybody, but the culture here and religion teaches you to go to church or to go to the doctors and this and that, but you do things different. So tell me about the healing process and how it works.
We have, three different aspects of healing in our culture, and all of those three aspects take. Katasa can testify that all of those three takes a lot of knowledge, a lot of work, but most importantly, dedication. Meaning, it's a way of life. Healing for us is a way of life. It's not a job.
So what kind of healing have you done?
We have
two different types of healing. You have healing with herbs.
No, we have healing. We have healing of the spirit.
Yeah.
We have the healing of the body. And we have the energetic healing. So the healing of the spirit, most of the time we just use like spiritual knowledge, to do those kind of healing, which the science doesn't have now. Science, modern medicine, or modern science doesn't know that. That's why they're still struggling with all of the sicknesses that people are dealing with here. Those people who have those kind of sicknesses decide to come to Africa and see like proper healers, they're going to be healed. They're going to be healed from their problems. Now we have energetic healing. Healing that uses the earth energies to heal. And then we have like physical healing, which we use the product of the earth to heal. So like plants and all of that. We will use like, barks, leaves, plants, depending on whatever is needed to heal. Now, the recipes are different because here, being close to people who talk about healing, in the West, people talk about recipes. Recipe by itself is not healing. Like you can come, you have stomach aches, and I give you some herbs. Catasta can come with this stomach ache. I will give her those herbs. It's not going to work for her. Why? Because she might have some a different metabolism,
different genetic
thing, in the body. Or her problem, the stomach problem she has is not really like physical. It's like maybe from energies or from spiritual things.
So what about when I say regular healing, things like blindness and things like that? What kind of method did you use to heal somebody? Suppose somebody came to you and they were blind.
Yes.
Is there anything that you could have done for them?
In the history of humanity, you don't heal blindness.
What? Why?
You don't heal blindness because, first of all, for someone to be born blind, you don't heal that kind of blindness. Second, for somebody to have high eyes problem with their eyes, you can heal the problem with the eyes, but you can't heal blindness.
Okay.
Because blindness already means that the windows of the soul are already closed. and then the person already just now has to develop other senses to be able to function.
Okay.
No more. But all of that will come with your past life, or will come with your your violations of either natural laws or spiritual laws, or customs or anything like that.
So you remember your past lives?
I don't remember my past life. That would be so. That would be like against the principle of universe for me to know my past life.
Okay.
But I know how my reincarnation lived and how he's coming to live. Because when we talk about to talk about past life means that we agree already on reincarnation.
Yeah.
So if we agree on reincarnation, that means that we have to also understand that when we say we reincarnate, right now I'm a result. My reincarnation now is a result of 162 different spirits contributing for me to come. So you don't reincarnate completely.
Okay.
Reincarnation is not like a complete comeback of a spirit. A complete comeback of a spirit will be reappearance. That's the one we call the reappearance. Okay, but for someone to be born and then you're reincarnating with about 100.
So how do you get this 160 odd? Where did that come from?
It comes from, from studies, wisdom, where I can explain a little bit about that. It's for someone to reincarnate, it takes at least 7 generations. Meaning, for me to be here, that means this spirit, original spirit, I was alive on earth, somewhere on earth, 7 generations ago. Okay, now I happen to be like the 7th generation. So in those 7 generations, you can try it when you have like a board. You can try it starting with you, and then your mother, and your mother, her mother and her father, your father, his mother and his mother, and keep going like that, and then you will reach. By the time you reach the 7th generation,
you'll find yourself there.
You find yourself. No, you are
one of them.
But all of them
reincarnated. So.
All of them contributed. That's why your fingers don't look alike. That's why this hand and this hand don't look alike.
They represent each member, each generation of the family.
That's why this eye and this eye will not look alike. That's why this ear and this ear will not look alike.
So they represent different generations.
Exactly. That's why for a woman, one boob and the other boob will not look breast will not look alike. And for men, we have one testicle and the other testicle, that's not going to look alike. Feet, toes, everything else is not going to look alike.
So we are our ancestors just by looking at ourselves.
We are, that's what I'm saying, like if the system or religion accepts to teach about reincarnation and tell human being how powerful a human being is, we are like a composition of energies that can even bring light to the earth to our houses without even destroying the earth to get light.
So why don't you do that, man?
Well, they will kill me.
I do it for you, man. We can't keep paying all these bills. This is Babylon,
Yeah, I mean, let's go home.
Well, it's true, though. I think people run cars on water and you have a problem trying to sell it. Now, my final question.
Okay.
Are you okay? Right, my final question. Initiation. Why or how important it is for one to come and get initiated, like all in the Western world, to come there? How important is it for one to get initiated, and what would we expect on the outcome of the initiation?
Yeah, the initiation is in my culture. There's 3 different ways that a human being can become a very stable and knowledgeable human being. Education. The education, that's the teachings that you learn from your house. Your parents give you education. Okay. initiation, that's what society will give you. Meaning, like spiritually and how useful you can be in society, that's what you will get in the initiation. And we have instruction. That's the one you get, from someone trying to teach you. Like right now, I'm giving instructions right now because I'm not initiating you. I'm just giving you some information. Those information to put you in form, to keep you informed. Okay, meaning I'm just instructing you things. I'm not telling you to think. I'm instructing you. Now that's what universities, that's what schools teach our children. Like instructing them how to do things or how to think or how to go about things. And when you take initiation, we have two levels. We have the level where we call the house of life, per rank, kind of you being reborn. Because once you are born, we have 3 stages. You have the birth, the initiation, the marriage. That's also like what makes a human being stable in the society. So once you are born, you have to leave your family. After your family educating you, you have to leave your family for society to be responsible for you. And society being responsible for you, society will initiate you. And then in the initiation, then you get to learn about yourself, about who you were in the past life, about what you want to. Actually, I just told you that means that I know probably who I might be. So, who you are in the past life, what you come from, and how useful you can be in the society. Initiation will give you that. Okay. Now, in the initiation in the West, the kind of curriculum we have over here, it's the same curriculum. And believe it or not, we have a lot of people, elders, grown adults who thought they know a lot, who will come to our curriculum and they will be struggling with it. But this is a curriculum that is built based on the knowledge or the initiation that the youth go in Africa in the traditional initiation camps. Like 6 years, 7 years old, all the way to 14 years old, they go to the initiation. This is like what they learn that, somehow our master was able to put in the curriculum to be sharing with people here. And then you will see a lot of adults suffering with it, struggling, even dropping. They will drop. They will be like, no, I can't do this, and leave it behind because it's challenging, it's difficult. I will understand them because here it's not the perfect place to really learn those things, and apart from that, people have been conditioned, certain way to think, certain way to live, certain way to behave, certain way, and it's difficult, so it there's this kind of climax that will happen there. Now, what to expect after your initiation? Once you're able to cross the first level, which is the house of life per rank, you become an initiate who is now, even you get a name.
You get a name?
Yeah, because now the temple will check, your destiny. Like the first day you were born, when the earth received you, what did you have in your hands when you were coming? Every baby that comes out is coming holding something.
Okay.
Energy. That energy that you hold in your hand when you come out of your mom, what energy is it? What that energy is translating into. So at this time you can get your initiation, you graduate, then we will check all of that back, and then through that now choose a name that fits with what you came, because you have to answer the name to that translates to your destiny, that translates to what you came to do, that remind your spirit, that remind your soul, that remind your heart what you came to do, to achieve. You have to answer to that name, because the name is it's not just like it's a big part of human being. and it's like a energetic vibration, a sound.
Yeah.
Anytime we say your name, the whole universe will hear your
Respond,
name, will respond to your name. So you have to know what that name is, and then how that will be affecting your life. That's the most important aspect for someone in the West. That's what we will ask the person to do, the minimum. Give up the name of someone, and then take your own name. Even if it's your father or your mother who gave you that name, as long as that name doesn't make sense, it doesn't translate to your destiny, doesn't translate to what you came to do. Yes, that's why you see a lot of people in distress, in stress, in depression, in problem, in self-conflicts, like
Got
self-conflict.
people calling them by the wrong name.
Because they don't know
That's
themselves.
like messing up their destiny.
Exactly. It's almost like, the spirit
Magnet
is
pushing,
fighting with the
yeah.
body.
Okay.
The spirit fighting with the body. So once you get that name, that's a first step of, now you trying to really evolve, and believe it or not, we've been doing this for years now, and it's proven to be working for many, and for some, it's a challenge. And we understand, she was asking me a question, Katasa was asking me a question about the Earth Center. The Earth Center is a mission. It's not everybody who's calling the mission.
Cool.
You have to be someone who, in your past lives, you've been fighting for this. And we're coming again every year, every generation or every life. We can keep coming to, continue what we've been doing.
So have you got anything set up for trips for people to go back? Or like anything that any trips going back there where you're taking people back and on a regular basis?
Yes. Yeah, we have a system set up. We call it within the organization. We call it PIM, the project in Iritah. We have project of acquiring land or almost like original lands that we know that the Chinese or the system or the government will probably one day sell to someone who doesn't know the useful of those lands.
So how do you fund this then?
We are NGO, so non-profit. We function based on donation, and we function based on us not sleeping a lot, but working more.
So so if I wanted to donate something, where would I donate to?
If you want to donate, you can go on our website, www.theearthcenter.org, and then you can donate straight, or you can just call the line and then donate as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So, or if you just donate and then you give to the Earth Center of Manu, so it's going to go straight to our thing, and then you can specify what you can see the project that we have. You can specify what you want your money to be useful for, or you can just be like, use it for the best of the community, and then we do that. So we build wells for communities.
Okay.
We have projects right now where we rebuilding a temple, and it's a very important temple, and we will call it the temple of the four goddesses, and those are like Mahat, Nut, Aishat, and Serket.
So you started to build a temple now.
Yeah, we're building those temples to kind of reactivate them, because they have been asleep. We need to reactivate those energies and everything. We have wells. We have also another project where we need to provide the villagers with an easy way of farming, so that they can farm big to sustain themselves and avoid running to the city. Because when they end up running from the village to go to the city, we have two consequences. First consequence, they become like bandits, or they have to struggle to survive in the city because they didn't grow in the city, so they don't know what the city life is like. So they have to be doing crimes or problems to live in the city. We're fighting against that. And then when they leave, what that creates is that it creates a big hole of the youth in the village, because the elders are old, they cannot farm anymore. They're old, so the strength is not there for them to continue farming. Normally the youth is supposed to be there to be farming, and then taking care of the elders. So now there's like hunger that will come in. That's what the system is sending, like their NGOs and kind of
GM.
associations to go there, and then coming back and writing that Africa is poor because everybody's suffering, no one gets to eat. It's because you're the one taking them. I mean, imagine you take a child that's 6 years old, you come and then you force that child parent to send the child to school. So that child spend like almost half of the day in the school. Doesn't help his father or his mother anymore, or her father or her mother anymore at home. And you're not providing anything to replace what that child was doing in the house or in the family, contributing the family. But instead, you're providing a dream that we don't know if that child will live to grasp that dream, or a dream that's even real. Now you end up kind of, taking the child away, and then brainwash the child, telling them they're gonna get the degree, and they will get a good job. But somehow, they get a degree, but they don't have a job. Or even if they do get the job, they will work for that job for 30 years or 30-something years, and by the time they're like 70s, tired. They already gave all of their energy back, and then the system will tell them, what? We don't want you anymore because you are useless. You need to retire. You need to retire. Then that's when you decide to go home, to go back to your village.
When you don't have the strength to do
you can't do anything. You're almost dying, and then that's why people even it's the same thing that people have here, where you leave your parents in their homes, retirement homes, and all of that, because that's a way the system, Babylonian system, is telling you that you are useless. So go sit there while you're preparing yourself to die, and they're gonna probably help you die easy and fast. So that creates like a big problem for us, and a lot of people are judging us on that, giving us critiques, almost saying like, why don't we like sending our children to school? And we like, because it's destroying our social, foundation. It's destroying everything. For the politician, it might be like a good project for them to be having people going to school. Now, we have even a lot of people in the university that don't have jobs yet. But you're still taking kids away and still building schools, but not building like enterprises, not building like things that will get children to be working. So that's where, the leadership in Africa is a little bit retarded. Sorry for the word, but that's the only word I can use. Because
don't worry, everything will be all right.
Yeah.
It will be all right, because you've been doing a lot of work for a long time.
Yeah.
So may the Most High, the ancestors, guide you and strengthen you and keep this work going, because it is an impact. It is doing. Maybe you might not see it, but from somebody who's been watching from the outside, you're doing a good job.
Thank you very much.
You're doing a good job. So you know what I mean. Not only you're saying these things, but although you're telling me the situation, you are doing a good job. And the magazines, what you're doing as well. What they call?
Rising Firefly.
Right, the Rising Firefly. So these magazines, do they support? Where do we get these from? And
when you look in the magazine, you will see that we have articles, that we write. We are, as I said, we need to rewrite history. European, they train their people to write things wrong about us, to write only negativity about us. They deny us. And they even train some of our parents, to write against, themselves and to deny themselves. But some of us who got a chance to be speaking their languages, to go to their school and then to know a little bit about them, we're trying to rewrite history now by telling what we have and telling what they have, and see who's really better.
So where do we get the books from?
You can order them online. You just type Rising Firefly, or you type the Earth Center, and you can order it online, or you can go to the school over here in London or in Coventry, and then you can, if you check the Earth Center London or the Earth Center Coventry, you will have the address, and then you call them or you stop by, and then you can buy. We have also original horoscope. I think horoscope. Telling you the provision, what to expect in the period, depending on what the earth, the destiny that the earth is reserving you depending on when you are born and the month and the period in which you are born, and it tells you everything
And that's in the magazine.
in the magazine. You can read it. Every new magazine that comes, it comes with those kind of information as well, and then you read your health. It's talk about your health. It talk about your wealth. It's talk about your feelings. Talk about meditation themes, things that to be thinking about for the whole period.
Okay.
And it's like we put like a 3 months period in the magazine, and for 3 months you have things to guide you as well and to go through life.
Cool. That's mighty.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for the motivation.
Really nice.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So, thank you, Sister Kim. Right.
Katasta.
Yes, well, we give thanks for those questions. I get so much more knowledge from that. We have gone way over time, but it's definitely worthwhile listening to and hearing the information that you have to bring us, Naba. Before we go, I would like to ask, I know you do health consultations and I know you do spiritual readings. Will you be available for any of those while you're here in the UK?
Yeah, I will be available. When it comes to being a priest, a healer, you can't say that you're not available. I'm not a doctor. I'm a healer. So yeah, I'll be available for healing, spiritual healing, or spiritual consultations, or physical consultation, and yeah.
Okay. Actually, apparently, right. Oh, actually, there's been some questions that have come now. Right. So let's deal with the consultation first. All right. So if you want a consultation, I will give you the London school number, and that is 0207 0207. Let's make sure we're giving you the right number. Yes, it's 0207 175 4144. That's 0207 175 4144. If you would like a health consultation, or if you would like a spiritual reading. Okay, and we are about to go, but apparently there's been questions on the WhatsApp, and didn't look on the WhatsApp. So let's just quickly try and answer some questions. And okay, right, okay, maybe you can understand this one. It says right, how do we receive this power? Now, I'm not sure which power they're talking about. Is this power received and channeled to us through someone special? I'm not sure about that. But it says, dear presenter, why is I'm sure they mean Naba, why is the Pentecost celebrated when the outpouring occurs regardless? How does the power received today at Pentecost last through the year until the next renewal? Was that for us? I'm not sure. Well, they did say they sent a message, so it must be that. Do you know anything about the Pentecost?
I don't.
No. I know it was something to do with some power that came upon the Christian people, and then they would speak tongues. So it's the spirit that would come down upon them. Sorry.
Oh.
So for the person who sent in that message, you would probably have to ask, or maybe explain specifically what it is, because I'm not 100% sure. So I'm sorry, I can't answer. We'll get Naba to answer, because I'm not sure we quite
The reason
understand
why,
that.
yeah, in the church, the reason why when they preach, they have music playing or drums and all of that is because of the vibration. Like, you don't need to be in the church so that you can be, taken. Your spirit can be possessed by, a higher being. No, you can be anywhere. Once the music, once the right vibration and sounds are playing, yes, you're gonna be taken. You're gonna be possessed, and you're gonna be talking. You're gonna be saying things. And things that even the pastor himself or herself will not really understand what he's saying, but somehow That's the deal. That's the secret that those pastors have, but they don't want to tell you. It's just like music. That's it. If you guys just have to go and sit, like probably the way the Catholic do it, they just go and sit. There's no music, just pray, finish and get up. You don't see people falling there and then shaking and speaking languages. But you go to other churches where it's like someone woke up, had a dream, and then some way want to share his craziness with the rest of the world. Then he'll be like, I created a church, and then that church only music, talking, yelling music, and then you think like you being possessed. No, you're not being possessed because of Jesus. Jesus has more work to do because some people are dying of hunger somewhere. Some people are killing themselves somewhere. If Jesus has a work to do, he will be taking care of that first instead of being in the church to be possessing you.
Okay, give thanks now, but I think we really are out of time. We've gone way over time. So I just want to give out again, Naba will be speaking tomorrow, Thursday the 30th of May, at the Leicester African Caribbean Community Centre. That's Maidstone Road, Leicester, LE2 OEA, and that is 6 till 9 p.m. He will also be speaking on Saturday the 8th of June at the Leicester African Caribbean Community Centre, again 6 till 9 p.m. He'll be speaking then on the fundamental principles of the universe. Wow, that one sounds heavy. I'd love to be at that one. So Science of the Dogon, Ancient Egypt, that's tomorrow, Thursday the 30th of May. On the 8th in Leicester, 8th of June, 6 till 9 p.m. at the Leicester African Caribbean Community Centre, he'll be speaking on the fundamental principles of the universe. Well, if you want to know more about those particular lectures, you can call the Coventry School on 0204 7626 6859 or mobile 07305 995944. And for those who wanted to come to the London School lecture, it's the importance of family, a Dogon perspective. That's going to be on Saturday the 15th of June, 6:30 till 8:30 p.m. All events are £7 per ticket. You can also get tickets from justtickets.com. If you would like to visit the school to pick up any of the publications, the 77 Code of Human Behavior, the calendar, the
map of the sky.
The map of the sky. I forgot about that one. Yes, okay. The original map of the sky. Dendera. The map of Dendera.
Philosophy Podium.
The Philosophy Podium, that's right. The Initiatic Tales of Hejptah, the Book of Purification, the Rising Firefly. Or if you would like to come in and sit on one of the sessions, the lessons, the initiation, a visitor is allowed to sit in on one session only, so you can get an idea from the beginning to end what the initiation is really teaching. So if you do want to do any of those, you can call us on the number just gave you. That's 0207 7175 4144. We're located at 21 Sunnyside Road, London, E107BB. I'm Katasta Fakara, and I've had the honor of sitting in and speaking with Naba Iritah Shemnira, the Dogon priest from the Wuserian temples in Burkina Faso, our teacher, and the one who is carrying on the work of his father, Neb Naba Lomusa Modern Denebeg. Before we close out tonight, Naba, is there anything you would like to leave the listeners with?
Yeah, I mean, I just have to say thank you for listening. And for those on YouTube Live, thank you. I hope you enjoy our talk. Any question, you can post your questions in the comments on YouTube, and I will get a chance to be, replying to those questions. And, we can close as we started. You cannot be a star in the sky. You just have to be a firefly on earth. Thank you.